Here, I have pulled census data from the US Census Bureau's website. This is free information for anyone to use and is hyperlinked above. This dataset lists each and every state in the United States, its 2021 population, and the percentage change in its population between 2020 and 2021. Right now, the data is kind of hard to look at, and that's why we use conditional formatting to highlight trends and patterns in data to make interpretation easier. To use conditional formatting on a range, first highlight that range. Let's start with the 2021 population. Then go up to conditional formatting, click on it, and here you can see all of the different types of conditional formatting. We're going to quickly go through all of them, so don't worry if it seems overwhelming at first. Let's start with the first, highlight cells rules. When we hover this tab open, we see that the highlight cells rules conditional formatting is for logical operators like greater than, less than, or equals to. Let's highlight the biggest states in green and the smallest states in red. Let's click greater than in this box, and we see this little dialog box pop up. For the value, we can either use a cell reference, or we can hard code a value. I'm going to hard code a value something like 10 million, since there's only a few states in the United States that are bigger than 10 million. Then we choose the color that we want to highlight these cells in. For the big states, I want to highlight them in green, so I'm going to choose green fill with dark green text. Hit OK. Now, all of the states with a 2021 population of greater than 10 million are highlighted in green. Let's also insert a rule for the smallest states. With the same range highlighted, let's go to conditional formatting, highlight cells rules, and less than. This time, let's highlight all states in red that are less than 1 million. I like the color that they've already chosen, so I'm just going to choose OK. Since conditional formatting can quickly get out of hand with all of its rules, there's an easy way to view all of your rules. With the range highlighted that you want to inspect, go to Conditional Formatting, Manage Rules. This is the Conditional Formatting Rules Manager and details all of the different rules that are found on your spreadsheet or in your highlighted range. On the right side, it also includes the range that this rule is applied to. From here, you can create, edit, or delete rules. You can also edit a rule by just double-clicking on it. Clicking on our first rule opens a new window called the Edit Formatting rule. We can see that we can choose a number of different types of evaluation and a number of different logical operators. At the rightmost side, we can specify the value that we're evaluating, and if we click on Format, we can actually customize the colors and our font of our conditional formatting. However, I'm going to cancel and instead change this to 1.25 million to have a slightly higher threshold. Hit OK, and then in order to apply it, just hit Apply. This will apply our conditional formatting to the sheet. Okay, let's now go over to our percent change column. Let's highlight this range, but instead, this time, let's not choose highlight cells rules, but top bottom rules. As opposed to the highlight cells rules, the top bottom rules does the calculation for you. Okay, let's choose the top 10 items since there's only 50 items. This dialog box asks you how many of the top items that you want to format and how you want to format them. I'll keep it to the top 10 items here, but I'm going to switch the color to green since the states that are growing quickly are a good thing. Hit OK to finish up. So far, we've learned how to use highlight cells rules and top-bottom conditional formatting rules. However, when I look at my data, it kind of looks the same, still kind of hard to understand. This is because we are using the same highlighting methodologies for both of our data points. However, when we think a little bit about what our data represent, the 2021 population is a measure of size or magnitude, and our percent change represents what direction the state's population is moving in, up or down. For this reason, we should not be using similar conditional formatting to visualize these 2 points. Let's go ahead and clear rules from our entire sheet by going to Conditional Formatting, Clear Rules from Entire Sheet. Now we have a fresh start. Since the 2021 population is a measure of size and magnitude, it's a good candidate for data bars. To do this, let's once again highlight our population totals, go to conditional formatting, and choose data bars, and then use yellow to match our header. Excel has now inserted data bars correlating with the size of the number in Excel. Zooming out a bit so we can see the data a little bit better, the most populous state in the Union, California, has the bar filled all the way across the length of the cell. However, the least populous state, which is Wyoming, barely has the bar filled at all. Data bars are a great tool to visualize the magnitude of a certain number against the rest of the data. I like how this looks, so let's go ahead and move on to the percentage change column. Since the percentage change represents what direction the population is moving in, it would be a good candidate for an icon set. Let's highlight our range, go to conditional formatting, and choose icon sets. Icon sets are just shapes that indicate a trend in the data. Since some states are growing and some states are shrinking, I like these colored arrows to represent my data. However, I want to slightly change the parameters that this rule operates by. So I go to conditional formatting, manage rules, and I'm going to double click into this rule. This editor is similar to the one that we encountered earlier, however, there are slightly more inputs. I can choose the format style, the icon that I want to use, and then below is how I define what each icon means. Here, I want to make a change, so I'm going to change them both back to the number. Now, I look at my data and I want a green arrow for every state that is growing more than 1%, a yellow arrow for the ones growing less than 1% but more than 0, and then finally a red down arrow for those states having negative growth. To do this, I'm going to enter in numbers, and I'm entering decimals because remember, percentages are just decimals. Now I hit OK or hit my Enter key. Then I hit Apply. Now we see that our cells have reflected the change that we have made. The ones above 1% are a green up arrow, the ones between 0 and 1 are a sideways arrow, and the ones below 0 are down. Now that we've formatted our data using conditional formatting, making sense of these numbers is significantly easier. With a quick glance, we can quickly pull insights from this data.